Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kazuri Alameen, and I'm going to share a quick nugget of wisdom. This message is for somebody, and my intentions are pure, so I don't struggle with how it's perceived. I will be perceived. There are things in life, ladies and gentlemen, that we have to be able to grow to a deeper and wider understanding of. Of course, one of the things that's trending right now, the hurricane was pretty serious in certain areas. It's going to take a long time for certain areas to get back to some kind of normalcy. There were some deaths, which is very, very important. People lost their lives, property damage, but that's secondary to people losing their lives. So what's your point this morning, Mr. Kazuri? There are things in life, ladies and gentlemen, none of us know how we're going to leave here, but we're going to leave here. You can incorporate AI, technology, all the other stuff, but we're going to start breathing. We don't know what time, what land, and where. But that's affirmative. Look at the evidence. Not a belief, look at the evidence. And there are certain things in life whereas I understand we're growing up and we get certain indoctrinations and orientations, our education, our religion, where we stay, how much money we got, what kind of car we drive, or whether I'm in a sorority, our fraternity, all these other organizations and associations, and I respect that process. But there are things in life where you got to be able to peek your head outside of your comfortable zone and be able to not lose your humanity. There are so many people who have got so deep into what they believe, highly respected, that if a person don't believe like you or look like you, eat like you, talk like you, then you pull back from them. There are things in life, and once again, this hurricane is a prime example, where if you couldn't help nobody because they don't believe like you, live where you live, or drive what you drive, or educated as you are, have as much money as you have, that's very, very narrow-minded thinking. I know so many people who are hiding behind what I call LA label addictions. Well, I don't believe this, and then you believe that, so I can't deal with you. You know, one of the things life has taught me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so grateful about nature. It's not selfish, it's not gated in. These are things we all need. Once again, it's not a belief, it's the evidence. Can you imagine the owner of day and night? So, well, you ain't getting no nighttime because you believe this. You ain't getting no daytime because you believe this. I'm not going to let you breathe free air. Oxygen, we need this to live. Because you believe this and you live here, or you this educated, or you got this much money. I'm not going to allow you to stand on earth because you believe this and you believe that. Very narrow-minded thinking, ladies and gentlemen. I can tell people, open your mind so that your eyes can see. Nature is not selfish, it's for all people. And when we get into all these ideations about my religion and my politics and my agenda, I respect that. But you look at it from another perspective, that's very, very superficial. When the hurricane hit, it didn't care about your religion. It didn't care about your politics. It didn't care what your address was. It hit. And that's just real life. And so I'm glad to see the people who are being humanitarians. Regardless of what they believe, they're being humanitarians. Spiritual beings having a very, very brief human experience. We have so many things in common, ladies and gentlemen, that binds us, whether we want to own it or not, versus what separates us. Example, if you're listening to this message, somebody picked up your birth certificate. If you're listening to this message, you have a life certificate. If you're listening to this message, somebody's going to pick up your death certificate. I don't care what you believe. About your religion, about your politics, about your gender, about your education, how tall you are, how short you are. If you're listening to this message, so once again, somebody picked up your birth certificate. You're living your life certificate, and somebody's going to pick up your death certificate. It's not a belief. Look at the evidence. Sometimes we get caught up on our beliefs. Belief is the acceptance that something is true or exists. Belief is the acceptance that something is true or exists. And they don't make it real. You can believe and accept whatever you want to accept. But that will never override evidence. Example, without air, we would all die. It's evidence. Ain't no belief, it's evidence. We need air to breathe. We need oxygen. So to the people who stepped outside of their comfort zone and based on what they believe, but they're humanitarian, I commend you. There are some people so gated in and so veiled, so narrow-minded. Well, I can't do this because you believe this and I believe that. You live here and I live there. I'm so grateful that nature is not selfish like that. None of us know how we're going to leave here. You can beg to differ with me, you have that right. But just like you are listening to me, there's going to come a time when I also will not be here. I have no doubt about that. I'm here, but there's going to come a time that I will not be here. There was a time that I was not here. Once again, it's not a belief. It's the evidence speaks for itself. So to the people who are able to step outside of their closed-mindedness and help somebody in their time of need, that's spiritual. That's not religious. Some people can only do things when it's religious. You're missing the boat. Because you don't know what you're going to need in this life before you leave. Neither do I. You don't know who's going to have to help you in this life before you leave. Neither do I. You don't know how you're going to leave this world, but you're going to leave. Neither do I. Once again, it's not a belief. The evidence speaks for itself. You can be up today and down tomorrow. You can be. All of us can be. We don't know what the future holds. So strive to be kind to people, but you can only be kind and understanding, compassionate, and loving to people when you start with yourself first. So many people have missed this. This is an inside job, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't outside. You got to be able to willing to do the inner work. And it makes perfect sense because you're with yourself all the time. Even if you are married, and I respect the institution of marriage very highly, you're not with your spouse all the time. Your spouse is not with you all the time, but you're with you all the time. Once again, it's not a belief. The evidence speaks for itself. So how you treat you is very, very important. Stop getting drunk on labels. Hiding behind labels. It's very, very important to be able to open your mind so that your eyes can see. Be kind to others. Step outside your closed-mindedness, your uppityness, your arrogance. Stay humble so you don't stumble. Yes, have your own thought processes. I'm not naive by any means. But there are certain things, like I say, right now as I'm taping this video, the sun is shining right now. I'm so grateful that the sun is shining on all of us. We need vitamin D to live. The sun is shining on us for free. I didn't create the sun, neither did you. Once again, it's not a belief. It's a fact. The earth that I'm sitting on right now, the ground is not opening up right now. It's for all people. When day drops, it drops on all people. When night drops, it drops on all people. Not some people, not certain beliefs, not certain organizations, not certain political parties, all people. And we need that to live on earth. Open your mind so that your eyes can see. Stop getting drunk on labels. As I said a second ago, we all got a birthday, we all got a life day, and we're going to have a death day. You don't have to believe it. Look at the evidence. Evidence will always override beliefs when you come to a greater understanding. Be willing to do the inner work, ladies and gentlemen. So to the people who will be able to, who are striving to show their humanitarian insights, I congratulate you. To the people who are still hiding behind labels, open your mind so your eye can see, because you don't know who you're going to need in this life before you stop breathing. And I don't either. Stop hiding behind and getting gated in behind labels. Be a humanitarian. That's what it's all about. Peace and blessings.